Hello, YouTube. This is the second week of the YouTube Pagan Challenge. This week's topic, are you out of the broom closet as a pagan or witch, etc. So broom closet is a term that has been popularized and coined in the pagan community for being not open and out with your path to your friends and family. It was borrowed from the LGBTQ community, being in the closet, because often in society it has been frowned upon and stuff. Thankfully, the world is getting more progressive. Yay. I know this term can be offensive to the LGBTQ community, and I don't want to offend anyone at all. I'm just using the term that so many others have used. I don't want to lessen the dilemmas and struggles that they have gone through. Just wanted to say that. So, am I out of the broom closet as a pagan? Yes. I am obviously making very public YouTube videos about it. It wasn't always so, though. I've been a pagan for about 4 years now. I've always been out to my friends. I live far away from my family, and I have for the last 7-8 years, something like that. All my family lives all the way across the country in Tennessee. I've lived for the last 7 years in Arizona, and I now currently live in Colorado. Not really close to any family. I do have one cousin that lives here. But yeah, so my family for the last few years have been my really close friends, and my best friend and roommate who has been with me through everything. The group of people that I tend to surround myself with are very supportive, regardless of what you throw at them. So, I could have told them I was an alien and they probably would have given me hugs. So, yeah, they're great. So that's never been an issue. But my family, until a month ago, less than a month ago, I don't know, sometime before Christmas, did not know. Except my one cousin, who lives here in Colorado as well. She knew a few months ago, before I moved here in October, because we had been talking, saying that we were both planning to move to the same area, and so we were like, great, yay, a family member we can see again. She also posted vague things on Facebook that made me think she could be pagan, like things about crystals and stuff, and I was like, ooh. So one day I just kind of got brave enough to ask her about it, because I knew she was a little bit more open-minded than some of my other family members. Anyway, it turns out she was, and so I was all excited because I had a family member to connect with and stuff. And so she knew. And she kind of accidentally outed me to the rest of my family. She doesn't really see it that way. So what happened was we had gone to a pagan festival together one weekend. There was a place with a bunch of vendors selling cool stuff, and they had a drum circle and everything like that. And then later on that night, we met up with a pagan Facebook group that we had connected with just to meet more people in our area, since we were new to the area, with similar interests. And that was really cool. So my cousin, her particular section of the family, because my family is very big, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, all that. Her particular section, she's a little bit more open with and closer to. They knew this whole time what she did. They didn't approve of it, but they knew what she did. And so she just happened to casually mention to her grandma or dad or both, I think, in texting, that she was with me that day and we were doing stuff together. And so those family members told my mother and my grandmother, which were the two main people I was worried about knowing. So I grew up very, very Christian. I was dedicated as a baby. I was baptized at 8 years old. We went to church every Sunday and Wednesday and almost every other day of the week because we had something going on. I was on the puppet team. I was in junior Bible quiz. I was in choir. Something was always happening. My mom was in charge of the nursery. Just chaos. My whole life pretty much revolved around church. And yeah, so this was a pretty big deal for them, knowing I have gone so far from what they believe. They all knew I was atheist. That's something I haven't hidden from them. I hadn't told them about this particular part because of the stresses of what they believe. And I want to just make this clear. They're not like, there's so many people out there that call themselves some kind of religion or Christian, and they're like hateful people. And they're not like that at all. My family isn't like that. But however, they are still very adamant in their beliefs and genuinely believe anyone who doesn't have Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior is going to hell. Every single person on the planet who isn't Christian is going to hell to them. That's where the stress comes from, because a lot of people have the connotation that pagans and witches and stuff are Satanists. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them are. There's a group of people that are Satanists, and there are different types of Satanists, and that's a whole thing in and of itself. And it's still not quite not like what the Christians tend to think Satanists are. I could be very wrong about this because I still don't know much about all the different types of Satanism, but they don't really believe in the Christian devil. And I know a lot of pagans and witches don't believe in the Christian devil. I don't. The way my family, or my mother in particular, believes is that every other religion or way of thinking is a deception masterminded by Satan. And there's one true God and there's one true enemy, and so all the other religions that are made up are, just things made up by Satan to get more people to him, and this is a big deception, is what she believes. With witchcraft in particular, I think it goes one step further. She believes that basically something that I have done to become a witch means I've pretty much sold myself to the devil, and there's no saving me at this point. Like, I've sold my soul to the devil, and he has it, and I can't get it back, kind of a thing. And I think that's why I didn't want them to know. Not that I believe that. I just know that they genuinely, truly believe this, and it's coming from a place in their hearts where they're concerned for my safety and my soul. And they love me. And that's why it was so hard to let them know about this big thing. Anxiety runs high in my family anyway, and I hate stressing out my mom. And I wasn't going to cry for this video, but so I hate stressing out my mom because I'm just like my mom when it comes to that, because I stress out easily too, and it's something she genuinely truly believes, and I hate breaking her heart because I know she believes that. And I wish I could say something to calm those nerves and ease them, but there's nothing I can do because she believes it so fully and has grown up in it and been taught this from the Bible and from so many other preachers and pastors and things. It's like you don't teach an old dog new tricks, kind of a thing. She's not going to change her way of thinking anytime soon. The only thing I can hope is that she comes to get used to the idea. And it hopefully calms her a little bit, because she was very hysterical at first. I just hope she can see someday that this is the biggest thing in my life that's actually made me happy. It's so much more freeing than when I was just an atheist. Because at that point I was just cynical and negative towards everything in the world, and I hated it. And very depressed. And so this was so much better for my well-being. My life is so much happier now because of it. And I just hope she can see that someday, because that's what matters to me in my beliefs, is the present. It's always in the present moment. There's no point in worrying about the future. I don't believe in the afterlives like she does. I believe in reincarnation. The way to maximize my potential of life is to focus on the now. And that's what this whole thing is about for me. And all she cares about, she cares that I'm happy. I know she does. But all they really truly think is the big picture that matters, and their big picture being the afterlife that the Bible teaches about, is heaven and hell, and who gets into heaven and who goes to hell. That's, I think, one of the reasons why I hated Christianity so much, is because so much fear was instilled into me since I was a child. I honestly still will have, nightmares and terrors and wake up in the middle of the night because of just the fear that this religion puts into small children. I'm sure nobody else in my family remembers this, but one of the first times that I can actively remember taking communion, I didn't want to, because the preacher at the time was very angry and preachy, how preachers tend to get sometimes, especially in the South where I'm from. He was very angry and preachy and was just like, if you drink this and you're not worthy of it, you can damn your soul to hell forever. And I was 4 and I didn't want it, but basically my family kind of forced it down me. It freaked me out a lot. All those little things kind of added up in my life. I just realized that so many other people who connected to Christianity in a different way would talk about this loving father like God and stuff, and I never got any of that side. All I got was, you should do this because you're afraid of doing this, because you're afraid of going to hell and burning forever. It was really traumatic and stressful, and I don't think they realized quite how traumatic and stressful it was for me. But when I found this path, it's just so embracing and loving and focuses on the you the person. rather than one entity, if that makes sense. So this rabbit trailed a lot, but explained a little bit about my past. So I am out of the closet now. I'm hoping it's going to end up being a good thing. My grandma was a little bit more better about it. She didn't mention it at all, but I know she knows because my mom knows and they tell each other everything. So she was just, just went on with conversation as normal. Did I get my package in the mail? Stuff like that. So my grandma is the type of person to kind of ignore things that stress people out. Because I know she's scared of pushing me further away if she were to confront me about it, probably. And that's not something I want. Eventually, I want this to be able to be a talking point in my family. I want everyone to be able to talk about things rationally without getting angry, without shouting, without crying. It would be great. People can dream, right? So, anyway, that is my video about being in the closet and how I came out of the closet. I want this video to encourage people to be brave enough to be who they are, but at the same time I really want to put this disclaimer in there. If you are a young person and you are in a situation where you're in a dangerous home or you're afraid, don't feel pressure from society to be proud of being who you are and be proud of who you are, but don't feel pressure to come out when it's not a safe environment for you. If you're in a position where coming out about being a pagan or even being gay, but you're afraid of telling your parents, be safe. The number one thing is for you to be safe. Don't feel like you're less of what you are just because you can't tell people right now, or you can't tell everyone in your life right now. That's something I really want to stress, because that's something that I struggled with at first, because I'm just I want to be this, but I don't want it to seem like I'm ashamed of it. And I'm not. It's just that was the best situation for me and my family at the time. It was less stress on them for me to not tell them. I probably would still not be telling them if they hadn't already found out. Just because my mom was going through a lot right now, and health-wise and stuff, and she didn't need that extra stress. Even though to me, it's not real stress, it's stress she's creating for herself. And I say that in the most loving way possible, Mom, if you're watching this. I know that she's incapable of not stressing out about it because of who she is. So that is how I came out of the broom closet. I hope you find this helpful. If not very helpful, just at least encouraging to know that there's someone that's in your situation. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this and say, blessed be if you'd like to be. Bye, YouTube.